I would Rosello. I wouldn't be surprised if KD to the Spurs is done already, and they just haven't announced it. Basically, they've agreed on the specifics. Just announced it on the week of the draft. This goes back to the Giannis piece. I think they trade for KD because it just costs less. They'll be able to be real competitive and maybe go a couple rounds in the playoffs, but they're also going to keep the number 2 pick and do it that way, which is my prediction. Yeah, I mean, KD to the Spurs actually makes so much sense when you think about it because it makes them competitive now. They wouldn't have to like really tap into a lot of their other draft picks, but also beyond that, I think they have so much capital that they wouldn't have to cut too much into it. And also, if you give him like a couple years, he'll probably be off the books by the time Wemby's making $50 billion a year. It makes a ton of sense. Why would KD want to go there? Because they could be good. I mean, that team could be good, straight up. Let's not forget they have the Aaron Fox. I know, it's easy to forget. I forget all the time for some reason. But Fox, Wemby, Kevin Durant, I mean, that's a pretty good team. I don't know in the West what that means for you, but that's a pretty damn good team. Like, that is. Oh, wait, what? You have to convince him to play with a bunch of young bucks? I don't think KD cares about that. I don't know if KD wants to play with the youngins. I mean, yeah, I think he could. De'Aaron Fox getting moved soon. I mean, they definitely have an interesting backcourt dilemma. But look, our guy Gambo, who we saw just has a framed picture of Donald Trump behind him in his podcast setup, which, hey, to each their own. Just kind of a hilarious thing to have just in the background. But he's been saying for a while now, and he did say last week that it feels like Kevin Durant's going to go to the Spurs. And Kevin Durant himself, somebody asked Kevin Durant, where does he think he'll end up? And he himself said the Spurs. So what does that trade look like? I mean, you're probably just getting... Now, the Suns are a fucking mess. Destructive Matt Ishbia. That's what I call him. Little destructive Matt. He's horrible. No, we clocked this, right? We clocked this. I was years ago after he bought the team, was just like, do you guys know what this guy's business practices are all about? This guy sucks. When everyone was like, Matt Ishbia rocks. We love him. He's so smart. Everyone's like, no, Matt Ishbia is so smart. I was like, this guy's terrible, and this has new owner syndrome written all the fuck over it. This is a disaster waiting to happen in Phoenix. And once you know it, we've reached disaster territory. And now, little destructive Matt Ishbia has openly said, and this is hilarious, has sent out an email to members within the team saying this. I'm not the conventional NBA owner, and I don't want to be, Ishbia wrote. I've tried running the typical NBA owner playbook, hiring the experts, signing the checks, and getting out the way, and none of us were happy with the outcome. Ishbia has said, according to another source, Ishbia emailed the Suns basketball operations team internally on Wednesday, taking accountability for not doing enough to establish a culture and identity in Phoenix. The Suns owner stated that he tried running the typical NBA owner playbook of hiring experts, signing checks, and getting out the way, but no one was happy with the outcome. And now he's going to take a more hands-on approach. Brother, that's a disaster. Man, I'm looking at my old tweets. I hated this motherfucker. This is from 2023. There's an entire subreddit dedicated to a huge W billionaire owner, Matt Ishbia, terrible treatment of his employees' family at UWM. Oh my God, that's right. There was an entire subreddit dedicated to how shitty it was to work there. Oh, man. Also, huge W for Ishbia to see a huge increase in his yearly salary by hundreds of employees were let go. Huge W, huge W. This viral TikTok about HBO's huge W company, UW. Why was I saying this? What was going on at the time? What was going on at the time? I was upset. Sally loves capitalism. Hell yeah. So, anyways, the Suns are a complete and total mess. Now, what does a KD trade to the Spurs even look like? I haven't really seen it. Do I look at what our fans at Fanspo, the Fanspo community, have thrown together? Let me try to throw one together myself, just to like lay of the land. Most of these are always 3-teamers too, so that goes without being said. KD $54 million. Now, do the Spurs have to match that completely? Vassell obviously is in the trade. They can take on salary. How much? How much salary can they take on? Vassell goes. And now let's just say one other contract. It's a no if Suns ask for Castle. Oh, it's a fuck you if they ask for Castle. Why would Phoenix not want Castle? Phoenix is going to want Castle for sure. But if I'm the Spurs, I'm saying no. No. Keldon? Would you rather have Keldon or Harrison Barnes? I actually think the Spurs, the Suns would rather have Harrison Barnes. Expiring, yeah. Would much rather have expiring than Spurs don't get KD. I think they're okay with that, honestly. I think they're all right with that. I don't think like KD falling in their lap just feels like a miracle. Like we can get KD for cheap, great. If not, then fuck it. We don't care. We don't like. It's not the end of the world for us. And then what else? Do they get a future pick? Yeah, and just from a player's perspective, I'd rather have Barnes than Keldon Johnson. Vassell, Harrison Barnes at a 14th overall pick. I mean, that's a home run for the Spurs. Like, that is a grand slam. Yeah, the Suns, I think, need to get a little bit more. Because none of the players you're getting, I mean, like Vassell, you guys know I love him. Vassell, Harrison Barnes expiring. Like, you're saving money in this scenario. Let's see what some of our friends are cooking up. Hold on, let me look at this one first. Nuggets get PJ and Caleb Martin. Mavs get Cole Anthony and Lonzo. Yeah, no thanks. Vassell, Booker, and Beal's a yikes. I also love hey guys, the Suns want to get off of Bradley Beal. Yeah, no shit. I love those reports too. Guys, they want to get off of Bradley Beal. Yeah, I'm sure they do. What are we supposed to do with that info? Like, that's great they want to get off Bradley Beal. The Spurs actually make so much sense for KD. So much sense. Spurs could land Kevin Durant, and here's a fair trade for both sides. Keldon Johnson, according to this, it's not fair. Keldon Johnson, Sohan, and 2 firsts. I always love the failed trades. Spurs, smooth offseason. Oh my God, Vassell Harrison, like, is that really what Harrison Barnes, Vassell, first? Oh God. What about this scenario? Oh, KP and Cam Johnson and the 14th overall pick. What the fuck? Why are the Nets doing this? What? Vassell for Cam Johnson? Why on earth would the Nets do that? Oh, 3-team KD trade. Okay, the Mavs are getting Devin Vassell. KD goes to the Spurs. Suns get Keldon, Gafford, PJ, and the 14th overall pick. I mean, hell yeah, that's great for the Suns. I don't think the Mavs do that. Not sure the Mavs do that. So what's this idea that like the Nets? Oh. Okay, this one's somewhat interesting. Nets get the 2nd overall pick. Vassell and Harrison Barnes. And the 14th overall pick. The Spurs get KD, and they trade back in the draft. So they get the 8th overall pick now. And the Suns get Claxton, Cam Johnson, and a 1st. That's a good return for KD for the Suns. That is. That's a very good return. The Spurs don't do this, right? That's too much. That's way too much. Everyone else says yes. Everyone else says yes, besides the Spurs. I like the idea, though. I like the thinking there. Oh, hell yeah. This is what I like to see. Terry Rozier ends up on the Sun. Hell yeah. KD goes to the Spurs. The Suns also are sending Beal to the Heat in this trade. Oh, you're just swapping out horrific contracts. So in this scenario, the Suns are getting Rozier, Duncan Robinson. Rozier, Duncan Robinson, Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, and Sohan. But you are getting off of Beal. I mean, why the fuck would the Heat do this? That Beal contract is repulsive. Could Fox be in a Durant trade? Can Fox even be traded right now? Suns can't. I guess the Suns could technically. The Suns, you can aggregate, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks, you could aggregate contracts in a trade if the trade gets you under the second apron. If you're a second apron team, but the trade you're making gets you under the second apron, you can aggregate salaries. Am I wrong? I believe that's the case. This is just so many moving pieces. There's just no way. You're basically swapping an entire roster. Suns get Claxton in the 19th overall pick. But I don't. Why would the Nets? The Nets are just getting pawned. These fucking terrible contracts. Just getting pawned these horrific contracts, man. I don't like. Why would the Nets want Devin Vassell? I don't know. I don't really get it. Poor Devin Vassell, man. He's being passed around like a blunt in these trades. Why is Beal on here? Oh, they're just cutting Bradley Beal. All right, I've seen that possibility. I don't think it works in the way Fanspo's thinking it does, where it frees up that much cap. Yeah, that's a fuck up on Fanspo's part. Devin Vassell losing the sided by stamp of approval is disheartening. He just can't stay on the court, man. Like that's it. He's an exciting player. I don't think he'll ever blossom into the player. I thought he could. I actually saw some Devin Booker and Vassell at times. But he just struggles to stay on the floor, man. I mean, Harrison Barnes, Vassell, and a pick. Harrison Barnes, Vassell, and the 14th overall pick. Is that not the obvious play here? Yeah, it's not the return you were hoping for, but you were never going to get the return you were hoping for. Chuckles, 5 months inside Illusional Club. Is Hallie's most realistic historical comp Kid? Kid was a demon defensively. I don't think that's a great comp. I think Nash is probably it. Sally, you look like the third stepbrother that got all dressed up for the Catalina wine mixer. Adam Scott? Watch OKC swing on Vassell this summer to help complete a KD to San Antonio Spurs trade, and then he pops the fuck off. So, There's actually a trade I've been thinking about. And god damn it, folks. It feels like, again, I've always predicted the Thunder to do X, Y, and Z. This feels as clear and obvious as it gets. Cam Johnson to the Thunder, with picks going to the Nets. The only problem is the Nets have 4 first-round picks. They got to trade some of those, right? There's no way they're drafting 4 times. They're trading up in the draft. Yeah, I could see them packaging like 8 and one of these 20 picks to move up. OKC have any crazy valuable first-round picks left? Well, they've got 15th overall this year. You've got Philly next year, 1 through 4 protected. You've got Utah next year, 1 through 8 protected. They'll be fucking terrible. Then, I mean, these Clippers swaps, bro, like, the Clippers won't be great forever. You know? You've got a Denver pick. You've got a future Mavs swap. You never know. That could be interesting. I mean, Denver 2027, top 1 through 5. That'll probably not be a great pick. '15th overall pick. I mean, they can't draft twice. Is there a world where the Nets could send Cam Johnson to the Thunder? What's the salary you would be cool sending out? Cam Johnson for Joe and Kenrich? And the Thunder send 15 to the Nets. And then could the Nets then package 8 and 15 or 8 and 19 to move up, and then they still have 15? Do you get what I'm saying? So they package like 8 and 19, move up, and then they keep 15. What team do you think they're going to move up with? I haven't like been following that. Are there teams that people are saying would move down? I've seen ones where it's like the Sixers trade 3 to the Nets and they get 8 in return and Cam Johnson, which is kind of interesting. If you're Philly, would you trade 8 and 15 for 3rd overall and just rebuild? No, if I'm Philly, I would consider doing that if I'm getting Cam Johnson. I would absolutely consider doing that if I was getting Cam Johnson. So Cam Johnson, 8 and 19 for I mean, how do they getting there contractually is actually kind of complicated for them. Oubre, how do they get there contractually? Now you could just do the, hey, you want the 3rd overall pick? You're taking Paul George's shit ass contract. Does this even work? Nets are taking on $31 million in this trade. Dude, that fucking Paul George contract is horrible, man. Oh my God.